Hi, and welcome to another lesson on negative adjectives and adverbs. Today we are going to study ningún, ninguno, and ninguna. We use ningún and ninguna when what follows is a noun. In English, this is the equivalent of no plus noun. And what is a noun? In case you don't remember, a noun is a person or animal, a place or a thing. Let's see this in action. No man can fly. Ningún hombre puede volar. What we can see is that in English, the structure is no plus a noun. In this case, it's a masculine noun, which in Spanish is important to pay attention to because depending on whether we are using a masculine or a feminine word, we are going to choose ningún for masculine or ninguna if it is feminine. She has no problem. No tiene ningún problema. Here, the word problema may seem feminine because it ends in a. However, it's a masculine word. That's why we use ningún. No woman will say that. Ninguna mujer va a decir eso. And in this case, mujer is a feminine word, a feminine noun. That's why we use ninguna. She has no friends. No tiene ningún amigo. He has no sisters. No tiene ninguna hermana. And if we pay attention here, you will see that in English we say no friends. However, in Spanish, we are using the singular form, ningún amigo. The same here, sisters, hermana. So in these kinds of situations, no friends, no sisters, when we use the plural in English, in Spanish we'll stick to the singular. And we use ninguno or ninguna when they are pronouns. What's a pronoun? It's a word that can replace a noun or a noun phrase. But we'll see this in action. In English, this is the equivalent of using the word none or not any, for instance. None of the men can drive. Ninguno de los hombres puede manejar. So we're using the word none. Well, for that reason, we are using ninguno. And it's ninguno because we are talking about men, masculine. None of her friends is rich. Let's assume that we are talking about girls, for example, women here. Ninguna de sus amigas es rica. Those video games? I don't like any. Esos videojuegos? No me gusta ninguno. And in this case, we are using ninguno because it's masculine. None of these tools is good for this. Ninguna de estas herramientas es buena para esto. Herramientas is feminine, that's why we use ninguna. And if we look at this, we will see that even though in English, in some cases, we are using the plural, none of these tools, and we are referring to tools, in this case, video games, in Spanish, in all cases, we use the singular form. So, ningún, ninguno, and ninguna are always in the singular form. So to summarize this, when in English we want to say no plus a noun, in Spanish we say ningún, if what follows is a masculine noun, no tiene ningún amigo, no tenemos ningún problema, or ninguna when what follows is a feminine noun, no tiene ninguna amiga, no tenemos ninguna herramienta. Now, if in English we want to say none, we use ninguno o ninguna. Ninguno de sus amigos es francés. None of his friends is French. Ninguna de sus amigas es alta. None of her friends, female friends in this case, is tall.